All right, now, everybody. Quiet, listen to me. We're going to start a show. Now, some of you people have been with me before. You know it's going to be a tough grind, but we're going to have a show.
We are live on what is July 3rd. A lot of America is taking the day off. You can't go to a bank or post office.
What?
Any kind of, any sort of official transaction today is put on hold because it is the nation's birthday this weekend. Yeah. A lot of big news here in Mark Thompson land. By the way, I just sent you something, Albert. I don't know if you got it. I literally just sent it to you, and it speaks to kind of a little bit of the grift, the Trump grift that's underway. I'm wearing my heavy-duty credibility glasses today. I know. They're a little, it's kind of old school Liz Oyer. You know what I mean? Remember when she used to wear those glasses and now she's kind of glammed out, you know? But I'm going the other way. I'm anti-glamming, but I'm going ultra credibility today because it is the nation's 250th. And there's a lot going on, and I don't need to tell you that we have a great president, the greatest president in history, and he is going to celebrate the fact that he is the greatest president in history, and he's going to do it on the National Mall. And we'll get to that and more today. It's been a very eventful week, as you're well aware, against the backdrop of smoldering hostilities in the Middle East. You have a major celebration going on. You also have revelations about the president and his family having cashed in so enormously. These are things that we knew, but now there are specifics being laid onto it all. You look very credible, Mark. Thank you. Yeah, Buddy Holly made these. These are. Yeah, I think so. I think this is max cred today. If you missed this week, Albert is having a baby. That was the big news. It's a very, very exciting baby boy.
Albert, thank you.
And it is the show's first newborn. We have Kim's kids on board, already well into their lives prior to the show going on. But Albert will be the first gift of life to the show since the show has gone on. And it's, I'd say there's never been
anything like this.
It really hasn't, yeah. And the other big thing that happened is that Kim received an award. She hasn't received it yet, but she did win in a really hard-fought contest to become the Bay Area Hall of Fame. This is the San Francisco Bay Area, for those watching from different parts of the country. The San Francisco Bay Area Hall of Fame Audiocaster of the Year. Yes, it is a very... I feel like they could have taken that title down. It's a little cumbersome, but I don't know how they get it all on a plaque or whatever they're going to give you. Have you been contacted by the official organization, Kim?
No, but they did put out an official Instagram and Facebook message on their site saying that the After Party Live won, and they recorded more than 175,000 votes in their thing. Yeah. More than 67,000 for us, so that's pretty nice.
I mean, it was an extraordinary thing you're like the little engine that could on that show. Right. It's not a big show like with a lot of viewers.
Like this one. Right.
Yeah. It is. I think it's a terrific kind of down-home show. Like if Mayberry had a podcast, it would be the After Party Live. Now you call it the After Party because it comes after this show. So once again, you're really platforming off of me.
Oh, yeah.
And do you talk a lot about me, Kim, or do you just get into your own little crap on your show?
Do you know who I am? Yeah. I'm kind of a big deal.
Sometimes I tell Mark Thompson secrets on that show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which one do you use, Mark Thompson?
Insider information,
Jeez, that's something. Well, look, I want to make it clear I got a lot of email about Kim's victory.
I've received a lot of positive letters.
And a lot of people felt that Kim was deserving of this. I'm not one of them, as you know.
What?
But I do rejoice because her victory is my victory, particularly since it is particularly the case that it's my victory since I literally gave her the victory.
What?
Yeah, exactly. So I was thinking there'd be some kind of thanks, maybe a text message, something saying, Mark, thanks for animating the support that likely put me over the top. But no, Kim, of course, feels as though she's done it all herself. And
Thank
she,
you
how are
for
you?
the Mark Thompson show bump. Thank you for the Mark
yeah,
Thompson
you see, and she
show
says it like that.
support.
She does it like that.
Thank
It's okay.
you.
It's okay. I get it. I get it. Look, I'm used to being surrounded by. I'm
No,
surrounded by.
I know you are much more supportive than indicated, and I appreciate you.
Listen to me. I don't want to hear you.
I don't know. I do think that Kim's work is underappreciated on some level, but it's also overappreciated on another level. Anyway, and this might be one of those overappreciated moments. Still, I'm very impressed that so many people voted for you, and I think a lot of them are in the chat right now. The chat is live for the duration of the show. Coming up, Michael Shure and who did you beat out in this competition? You beat out somebody who I liked.
Danny Wright from a North Bay station. Yeah.
Danny Wright from the river.
Mm-hmm.
And he was leading before I got into the battle.
Well, we had topped him right before that, but then we like 2 days before.
That is just not true.
What?
You were thousands of votes behind him.
We were We were in second place.
Yeah, behind him by thousands of votes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So you were continued behind.
What I'm saying is we got pretty high without your help. I'm just saying that.
Oh, that is true. That you were able to get. You would have finished second without my help. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm
think
just
like
again. I'm
likely.
not. I don't want to pad my part.
Do you know who I am?
I'm
kind of a big deal.
I'm looking for the Danny Wright show, rocking Sonoma County for 10 years.
He's not. His people are not happy. They're accusing all kinds of voter irregularities and ballot stuffing. Which I mean, I don't know how you stuff a ballot when you can vote as many times as you want. Yeah, they're not happy.
Well, yeah, I'm not happy either. I think they might have a point, and I don't know who to write to. But I'm actually someone who is going to work on. But is that Danny Wright joining us now? Danny Wright, are you Danny Wright? Everybody from the river.
It's the biggest applause I've ever received in my life.
From 97.7, the river.
That's funny. They didn't tell me you were coming on. How are you?
I know.
It was a surprise that we have Danny.
Congratulations on all the support, and how fun was that?
It was humbling, very humbling.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are both very gracious, but let me say that Kim stole an election from you, and I'm not happy about it.
Well, let me tell you that not almost all elections are corrupt. So, I mean, there's that.
What a Zen way to look at it. I love it. Well, it's really nice to meet you, Danny. And I built a profile for my audience about who you might be and why they should vote for you over Kim. But clearly not enough of them listen to what I had to say.
No.
What was in the profile?
I said, look, he probably needs your vote more than Kim. Right. Kim lives in her little secure village there with in the warmth of her home, and who knows where Danny is? He might be
living under the Healdsburg Bridge.
Exactly.
He could be in streets of Santa Rosa.
Thank you. And so
I'm right down the road in Petaluma, just so you know. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kim, would you like to apologize for having taken, because you really did.
My bad, Danny. I'm sorry that I won.
Well, you don't have to be sorry. It's interesting because I don't know how much you were following this whole thing from the beginning of the announcements of the nominations, but
no, we were not. So fill us in. Yeah,
there was a lot of, and I don't want to throw anyone under the bus from the Bay Area Radio Museum, because this was their first time doing something like this, my understanding. But there was a lot of controversy in the beginning. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh.
Yeah. And so it turned into this. I mean, it was great for me just because I had a lot of content on my show. And so, and people really rallied behind the fact that A, someone local was nominated, and B, that there was some kind of shenanigans going on.
What was the controversy? Was someone...
There was someone, I won't, I'm not going to point
not naming
out,
names,
not naming names, but there was somebody, and to be fair, I don't know if this person did it themselves or if someone they knows and loves them did it for them or how it worked.
Right.
But there was one person who had 76,000 votes in like 2 days, 3 days. And so it was very obvious. And what? And it got to the point where I had, listeners of my show complaining to me about it, and I'm like, I'm just along the ride with you guys. I don't know. Yeah. And so they had, people looked into it, and it was, I don't know. Wow. Again, I don't know how it happened and why it happened, but I know why it happened, but I don't know how it happened. So they took all the situation.
Yeah,
it really was.
Wow, there was a battle for this award. This is crazy.
And I had people on. I won't name names again, but there was another person that went on social media and blamed me for having bots, because how can a guy from Santa Rosa have so many many votes?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well,
this is so ridiculous.
I have a daily radio show that a handful of people listen to, so it happens. But I kept my.
Well, no, you've been very gracious about it, Danny, and you're even gracious in this moment, as I feel as though this award has been stolen from you. But what I'll also say about Danny Wright is that, he just made a point, which is that, you're on a station in North Bay of the Bay Area, and for you were the leader until we announced it on this show, and then Kim got a big surge of support.
Blame him. I blame Mark.
But I it was too late when I realized the errors of my ways, and I started really pushing for Danny. I couldn't get enough of my audience turned around to outvote Kim, but I don't know. It's only for the year. Also, this expires in. Is it the calendar year, or when is it?
I mean, I don't know. The voting felt like it was 6 months. So
it is true.
We have to cheapen it, Mark. It will be with us forever.
That's true. It is. When they look down the list of all the winners, Kim's name will be right there. So
I'm going to make a pledge now that next year I am throwing the full force of this show behind Danny Wright to win this award.
What if you're nominated, Mark Thompson?
Yeah,
I will vote for Danny over me. I mean it. I feel as though
he wants to get me off the streets of Santa Rosa. It's a charity case, but that's fine. I'll take.
When is your show on? Give me so people want to listen. It's streamable too, right?
It is as well. The website, the radio station is 97.7 The River in Santa Rosa, Sonoma County. And it's on 977theriver.com if you want to listen. We have an app as well. And I do the morning show from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. And that's on the air. And then I do, as you would imagine, a whole lot of work behind the scenes for our entire company. Mm-hmm. That's the website. There it is. In fact, I don't know. Can you go on social media on your newfangled computer thing here? I don't know.
Which social media do you want us on?
Well, I was going to tell you that I had a little fun with this morning as well on my Instagram. And
Albert, can you do it? Or where is it?
It's at Danny Wright Show if you find it on Instagram or Facebook.
No, Instagram or Facebook at Danny Wright Show. Albert will try to scramble to get it.
Okay, great.
Funny.
We didn't want to tell Kim you were going to be on. We just
and I didn't mention that I was coming on here. I just you guys know obviously about the Russian couple that climbed the Empire State Building, and there's been memes all over the place with the flag that they. So I made my own version of the flag meme, and I posted it on my socials. And people are, they're
there
outraged.
it is. Danny Wright was robbed. I love it. I love it. I love it. I agree.
Just some of the some of the comments are just wild.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
People with family in Santa Rosa.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should spend some time checking out Danny's show, says Judy.
We should.
Both shows work really hard.
I'll have to turn it over to from KZST over to the river and check you out.
They're right next door to me, so I can bang on the window over there anytime.
Buddha 3 says, I like this guy a lot. Robbed, says Norm. Norm gets it. Norm gets it.
What happened to my people? All of a sudden,
I'll tell you, your people, you know what happened? They realized they have buyer's remorse, your people. Okay, Kim?
That is not right.
Danny, we love you. Next year, Danny,
Thank you, Danny,
come
you're
here, and I'm pushing for you, my friend.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming through.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
It's the great Danny
Have a good
Wright
day, Danny Wright.
on the river. 97.7 right there in Sonoma County. I love it.
The Mark Thompson Show.
That guy is a class act, Kim,
Yeah,
considering you
he's really
stole
nice.
his effing award.
Hey, our people worked really hard for that, and they voted, and they were very supportive along the way. It's been going on, as he said, for a while. Like his crowd was voting for even longer, because I didn't catch on right away that I was
Well, his
nominated
crowd,
for it.
he really won it. You just sort of
Mark.
stole it at the end. But anyway,
So mean.
look, the important thing is, Kim, that you don't feel good about this and that you not feel good about it. And that's what I'm here for. So
Right.
It was wrong. It was stupid, and I'm trying to be a better person.
Exactly.
Mission
Maybe next year you'll
accomplished.
be a better person.
Yeah.
I would recuse myself next year so you could throw your support behind Danny.
I don't
but,
know. I mean, if you're nominated or Nikki or whatever, then maybe I'll have to vote for you guys.
How could Danny have gotten robbed? I voted for him 5 times, says Robert. Well, if it only came down to your vote, I guess he would have won.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's
That was
It's a
fun.
tough
What a
one.
nice surprise.
a lot of these election interference cases, are not solved for years. This probably is an investigation that'll go on.
They do this to me all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for.
Yeah, Casey gets it. Yeah. Casey understands.
This is Casey Kasem in Hollywood.
Yeah, there's a number one. Kim getting the number one spot in our survey, but there's some questions as to the legitimacy of her win. Danny Wright likely was robbed.
No
All right,
questions.
so it was pretty fun to have Danny through, though.
Yeah,
and
it was. He's a nice guy.
Yeah. So,
What can you tell us about the scene?
Yeah, it's a controversial, Larry.
Milton Watkins in Australia with an Australian $5. So good, Kim. Well done.
Well
Thank
done,
you.
Kim. Well done.
Thank you,
all
Milton.
right, Kim. All right, Kim. Nice one. Nice
Really
one.
nice.
Danny is cool, but he's no Kim, says Louise. I know. Actually, that's what I like about him, that he's no Kim.
Mark.
Does Danny need a shadow producer?
Does Danny need somebody to do the news on his show? Is what I
Richard
wanna know.
Wouldn't it be great if everybody exits this show and goes over to Danny? Yeah. All right, I've got stuff to do. This was fun. Again, thank you. And it was a surprise to Kim. So thank you for keeping it quiet, everybody. And
Everybody
and now
knew but
on
me.
to what's
The
that?
Mark
Yeah.
Thompson Show.
Can we just quickly say happy birthday to William Lundgren, who's 80 years old today?
Wow.
Yeah.
80 years old. William, thank you for being part of our audience for a long time.
Happy birthday.
Cheers to you, sir. I will drink to you with the Coachella Valley coffee of my I
80
am
years. That's amazing.
80 years is just terrific, man. Just terrific. I'm hoping for 80. I'm hoping for everybody to get at least 80.
Yep.
You get a lot of love here. I'm being told to knock it off. Johan says, Mark, you need to stop this. Or is it Johanna? Anyway, Mark, you need to stop that. It's not funny anymore. Now, Albert would tell you, when they say that, that's when you really need to lean into the bit.
When you double down. Yeah.
So I'm glad you can't hear. I'm laughing on my. I love that segment. That was great.
Yeah. Well, my friends, the thing I wanted most for the nation's 250th birthday is a wondrous, splendiferous moment with the greatest president in history. And that is the president we are now experiencing in all his glory. And he's promising the thing that we all wanted on the 4th of July. He's promising in the heat of Washington. He's promising a long speech. Here is the president.
On July 4th, it's going to be approximately 107 degrees out. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make a really long speech just to show that I can do anything.
Yeah, and I was trying to think as I heard that if that's ever something you want to hear. I mean, literally, can you think of anyone, even a great orator, would you like to hear? And I'm going to give you a really long speech. Really long speech is just a really good speech is something that people want. A really long speech is generally something that people do not want. In fact, you'll often hear, it was a good speech, it went on a little long. But there's no long that's too long for this president as he celebrates America, or more specifically, celebrates himself. There is a Mount Rushmore event, right? Festivities, is it today? That'll start around 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern time. They'll have fireworks there. And then the president will return to Washington, D.C. to do what he's promised, which is speak for a really long time and have this enormous fireworks display. Now, I'll mention one other thing, which is important when it comes to the crowd that's going to turn out. He is not going to begin this fireworks display until almost midnight. So you're on the White House. It's not the White House lawn. It's an area sort of adjacent to the White House. But you're on the National Mall, this green, beautiful area. It's hotter than Hades. I mean, it's incredibly hot and humid right now. And you've been there with your family, presumably, for some time. By the way, the security is incredibly rigorous in terms of the way they check what everybody has. They're not allowing any water, for example, no coolers, the things that you'd normally have for a kind of camp out to see a fireworks thing.
No
None of that's
water, and
allowed.
it's going to be 107 degrees. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I love this from La Makumeka. Mark Thompson,
MTS,
poll, please.
Will Trump's fireworks display feature Trump emblazoned with his name at the very end?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it is a celebration of Trump. And in fact, the National Mall, and you can see it here, is pretty sparsely populated. This shot actually is charitable in terms of making it look like there are more people there than there really are. There are very few people there. It's been politicized. It's been a troubled event from the very start. The Ferris wheel looks great. Like, I'd love to ride that Ferris wheel. We talked about it yesterday, the fact that the Ferris wheel was created by an American back in the 1800s in an answer, really, to the Eiffel Tower. It was sort of America's answer to this great French creation. This is what the mall looks like, and there is a replica of the Trump arch that he wants to build. Now, that replica of the Trump arch is falling apart. Right, Kim?
Yeah, that's why I don't think I'd climb on that Ferris wheel. It looks like everything was really slapped together in a shoddy kind of way. But this thing is supposed to be a representation of the arch that he wants to build near Arlington. And it was glued together in such a way that it has, you know, when there's like that yellow puffy glue that you can see, and it's puffing out through the cracks, and it's now streaking down the inside and where the columns are attached to this thing. Remember that. Remember the good old days when at state fair exhibitions, things like the Palace of Fine Arts were built? I don't know. Were the St. Louis arches, were they a fair?
Might have been for the World's Fair. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, these are things that have stood the test of time. And here we have, for this state 250 fair, this slapped together little cardboard glue leaking thing. No.
Yeah, well, Kim's right. I mean, she's talking about the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. That was built, again, for a fair. And it has, because it was constructed well, it has done well and been maintained and is a structure today, and a beautiful structure at that. So this is a replica. So on some level, I understand that, it's not going to be built with concrete. So they built it. There's the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. And look how gorgeous that is with the Golden Gate Bridge in the background. But the one thing that I would say about this construction and this arch is that it does look like is it a slap shot? What is it? A slap shot or slip shot, whatever the word is, job with the the glue and the construction materials being typical Trump, kind of low rent, and likely somebody pocketed a bunch of money on this and, didn't actually put any money into actually putting the arch together. And if you think that's me just taking a cheap shot at the president, let me tell you that these festivities, the 250th, didn't limit themselves to Washington. This was to be this broad celebration across America of the 250th birthday, celebrations that were going to take place in all of these different states. For 10 years, this has been planned. Okay, this isn't a Trump thing. They envisioned something that would offer Americans opportunities to celebrate the best of America and the real history of America in all of these different places. So you had celebrations planned in North Dakota. And, they have 150 people in this one place in the Badlands town of Medora, North Dakota. And they were transforming a museum of Theodore Roosevelt's frontier experience into something that they hoped would draw 250,000 visitors. This is going to be a sort of a nationally televised celebration with A-list performers and immersive historical programming. It's going to be great. The Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library's grand opening. Instead, you saw the opening, Trump there without America 250, and you saw a kind of totally slimmed down version of what had been planned, and that's a polite way to put it. And a lot of the money that was dedicated to that opening was taken. They needed $25 million in federal funding, and that money never came. And that's what this is a story about. This is not only a story about Trump putting together a tacky, self-referential, self-celebration. It's not necessarily just about the ego trip that Trump is on and how he plans to play it out on the National Mall. It's how he jackhammered money that had been dedicated to all of these different celebrations across the country out of those celebrations and put them into funding that went to Trump. He created Freedom 250. This is the organization aligned with Trump's White House Task Force 250. It became the principal partner for the library opening in the Theodore Roosevelt example I just gave you. And the Smithsonian spending years planning a month-long folk life festival in the National Mall. It was going to be like Burning Man, Farm Aid. They were going to celebrate these traditions along local and regional festivals from across the U.S. and even in the U.S. territories. But now, the space in the National Mall is being used for Freedom 250's Great American State Fair. So the Smithsonian had to take the festival nationwide. It partnered with all of these different existing festivals. And they're struggling to celebrate the folk life, the cultural heritage that had been planned. So they're saying, hey, we're trying to continue with the celebration, but the scale of the celebration is changing because the money's not there. So the way in which the money has been taken has now been spoken of openly by Congress people. Albert, play me the cut that I sent you last, because this speaks to the investigation. And look, I'm sorry to put some stink on this, but like all things Trump, it's not only tacky and badly slapped together, but it's also corrupt. And a bunch of federal money and a bunch of contributions, corporate contributions, private contributions, end up going not to the celebration, but to, they don't know where. Take a look.
Giving to the congressionally mandated committee, and then it turns out they were giving to the Trump-related committee. This is sort of a reoccurring pattern. I know you've been focused on the triumphal arch that he's trying to build out in Virginia. But we just don't know the sources of the money, how he's spending the money, where the money's going, and who it's going to in a lot of these cases. Can you speak in broad strokes about what you know as someone who does have jurisdiction over this and what you would like to find out?
Yeah, this report pulls back the veil on how they hid a lot of this from public scrutiny. And they started out with an attempt to take over that bipartisan commission that Congress created. When that failed, they went to Plan B, which is this elaborate machination where they set up a shadow company, Freedom 250 LLC. They housed it within a beloved charity, the National Park Foundation, over at the Department of Interior. And they did it in a way that all of their fundraising and other activities would be insulated from public view. And so they started shaking down and misleading donors, soliciting foreign contributions. They siphoned off the resources of the bipartisan commission that Congress authorized. And they did it all in this veil of secrecy through Freedom 250.
And Congressman, I was struck also by the report suggesting that Freedom 250, in the report's words, is a blueprint, not a one-time abuse. Give us your concerns about how this sort of structure could be used, in the remaining 2+ years of the president's term.
I think that's one of the important takeaways. It's too late to keep them from tarnishing the national celebration here, but it's not too late to expose this and stop them from using it as a playbook. So what was really corrupted and exploited here is this beloved charity, the National Parks Foundation, that for 50 years has been raising money for our national parks. Through the machinations that we outline in this report, they were able to access the donors, to mislead those donors. There's evidence that they may have even solicited donations intended for the bipartisan commission, and then redirected those to using bank information for Freedom 250. There's a lot of questions here that still need to be answered, and they have resisted us and obstructed us at every step in this investigation, but we're going to keep chasing it.
And there you go. Also, the LLC nature of this, that they'd set this up separately. It allows them to siphon money off. It allows them to keep the funding hidden. And that's what you have here. It's no surprise on one level. And on another surprise, it's another level. It's surprising. It's galling. On the 250th birthday, is there nothing you guys won't steal from? Is there literally nothing that you guys won't rip off associated with America? You'll rip off the reflecting pool. It's a non-bid contract. It's a no-bid contract that you assign to some mobster company. It's effed up beyond belief. Your sons go on to take on a drone company. They get almost $700 million in government funding 2 months later. The same is true with their mining operation overseas. There is no part of American business that the Trumps aren't hip deep in terms of enriching themselves. It's particularly galling to me, though, around the 250th celebration of this country. It's all just of a kind, which is what he was saying there in that cut. And so the last thing I'll just mention to you, and then I'll get to the guys. There is word that if you want to go to the National Mall, if you want to see the National Firework Show, as it's called, on July 4th, tomorrow, the Kennedy Center is selling ticket packages for as high as $25,000 for up to 3 dozen guests to watch the fireworks display and get access, apparently, to special areas. There is a roof terrace, free parking, and climate-controlled indoor lounge access throughout the evening. And by the way, everybody on that mall tomorrow night will wish they had $25,000 to be in that climate-controlled indoor lounge area.
Are we going to be in the Mark Thompson Show booth? No?
You have the best seat in the house if you're watching this thing from home.
Yeah, it's true.
$19,000 of the $25,000 package, they're saying, is tax deductible, according to the Kennedy Center website. So again, the DC Fireworks Show is sponsored by the Trump-backed organization Freedom 250, and you've just seen that there is all sorts of money that's going to all sorts of places through that organization, and it is essentially untrackable. And apparently things are not going so well. Here is the stage falling apart during a rehearsal. Watch the left part of your screen. You'll see something falling from the ceiling as there they are, the rehearsing dancers barely escaped. So again, tacky, bad taste. That only defines the president's artistic touch. But what you're seeing now on the National Mall is something that, again, reflects the kind of half-baked way in which everything is being constructed. Who is going to pay that $25,000 and how many? I know two guys who are not going to pay it, and they're joining us now. This guy's forgotten more about politics than most of us will ever know. Michael Shure and the brilliant takes of Mo Kelly on display. Always. Thank you so much for being here, guys, and happy 250th birthday to America.
Well, happy is right. I mean, I'm and now I get 19,
right.
I get 19,000 of my 25K back. I didn't even know that. That's good.
Wow. You talk about a screwed up situation. I just give you, before I move on from this, the statement of Trump has been unapologetic in regard to the length of his speech. He's sort of advertising, hey, I'm going to speak for a long time. Play it for them again. Would you please, Albert, cut one? This is Trump speaking. You know, he's doing a bunch of warm-up speeches this week, and this is one of the ways in which he was peacocking about what will happen on the National Mall during this great 250th celebration. It's cut one, if you can rally it.
On July 4th, it's going to be approximately 107 degrees out. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make a really long speech just to show that I can do anything.
You know, Mo, I mean, people love long speeches, don't they?
It's not even the speech. It's the fact that it's America's 250th birthday. And at every turn, this guy is trying to make it about him, celebrating his birthday a few weeks ago, celebrating him as being president, having the greatest show on earth as far as the mall in Washington. It has nothing to do with America. And you were speaking about the levels of corruption. Look, let me just be very honest. I'm not a criminal, but I like to think like one. And if I knew that I could do whatever I wanted, rob a bank, rob America, and not suffer any consequences, and I could tell you that I'm going to do it and actually see it through and no one could stop me, I probably would do the same. I'm just being very honest, because we're seeing a president at this point who does not care about the optics, does not care about the Republican Party as far as the midterms, does not care how he may seem as far as how he is raping and pillaging and rummaging through all the things which we find important with America. So look, there are no consequences. This guy is who he is. He is not going to change. And I think we should stop wringing our hands over him and start looking past and beyond him.
Michael, it is true that he, and I've said this since the beginning, has no sleight of hand. I mean, we've just seen this week the revelations around money that he got through crypto. I would suggest to you that it's easily double the amount that we know about. Yeah. But we know about $2 billion, largely from crypto. Now, when he was asked about it, he said, you know, we're all making money because your 401k, hasn't your 401k gone up? We've all done well. This isn't Wall Street money. This isn't 401k investment money. This is a different kind, I'd suggest a different kind of grift, donations from foreign leaders, from foreign interests, corporate donations. And I'm talking about the corporate donations that are somewhat hidden. They're in the dark money associated with crypto. And then, of course, they're out in the open, the Palantirs, the Amazons, the Microsofts, the Googles that are involved in the ballroom funding and all the other ways in which he solicited money along the way.
Yeah, and it's sort of further to the idea that he doesn't really relate. This is a deflection, right? To say that your 401k is doing well. Meantime, if you look at the real politics that are going on in the country, everybody's talking about affordability. Everybody's talking about how they cannot afford a tank of gas, they cannot afford a dozen eggs, etc. And, you know, here he is making $2 billion. And it's not even the making of it that is probably offensive to many voters. It's the fact that they don't have a slice of that pie, and it's costing them so much more every day. I mean, if you want to bring it down to the grassroots and bring it down to, Main Street, as the politicos like to say, because that's really what's going on.
Mentioned the Democrats and the election and the midterms coming up. Mo, I think you also mentioned the play me cut 3, Albert, because this is a big message going out now, and it's one that sort of echoes messages of the past, but it's clearly on blast now, and it seems to be reverberating on state-sponsored, if you will, the propaganda of Donald Trump. And then, of course, on Fox News Channel, which is the equivalent of that, but of course owned by the Murdochs. Do you have it? It's cut 3. Thank you.
What if a Democratic, the next time a Democrat is elected president, and the executive branch has all this expanded power that you've gotten?
Well, then they've got it.
Don't you worry they'll undo some of your policies at that point?
I can only speak for myself. It's necessary.
Worry about what's now.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's necessary. It's actually an honor to have won that, because every president since FDR has been trying to get that back.
That's of course the executive power. Hold on for a second, Albert. To the power granted by the Supreme Court to fire the heads of all of these regulatory agencies is what he's talking about. He's speaking with MAGA Joe Kernan. Go ahead.
Point. Along the same lines, if the Democrats take the House, and I want you to succeed as president. I want a businessman to run the country, and all along you entered as a billionaire businessman, which was unprecedented. I think George Washington owned a lot of land, but no one's ever. I think JFK had a trust fund, but no one's ever been as wealthy as you. And you obviously know how to run a business, and that I think informs the way you run the country. Obviously. Now, many people argue business experience is needed in government, and we've seen the stock market in the first term and the second term. I think it's been rewarded.
This question is longer than Trump's speech.
Yeah, no kidding. The ass kissing here that goes on for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's but what he's saying is
they are kissing my ass.
Yeah, they are, and they basically what he's saying, you're a bit. What's funny to me is that he talks about him like he's a successful businessman. You're the first billionaire we've had in. You're the first. Well, the reality is when he came to office, he wasn't a billionaire, and now I think speak to what we were just talking about. He's found ways to grift his way into billions of dollars, and the White House is openly taking money, openly taking bribes in ways we've never seen before. But the threat of the Democrats coming in, the threat of the investigation, the threat of in some way his powers being limited, that's what they're talking about. And they speak openly as well about the Democrats as commies. They point to Mamdani. They point to the progressive wing of the Democratic Party that seems to be getting key wins here, Mo.
Yeah, there is some real debate to be had about that question as far as how the Democrats should respond. Should the Democrats go in with a wrecking ball, assuming that they win in 2028 and undo everything the president has done on a legislative level? Or should they lean into it and use some of those powers that Trump now has to undo what he's done? In other words, get rid of all the MAGA loyalists, get rid of all the people who were hired specifically to forward the agenda of Donald Trump and just purge the government. There's a real debate that's going to have to be had within the Democratic Party as far as whether they're going to forgive and forget everything which was done prior to them returning to power, or are they going to lean in even further and say, well, y'all created this mess. We're just going to go ahead and wallow in it and make it our own.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you're loath to reduce the power because you need the power to make the changes you want, Michael, if Democrats were to reascend to the White House.
Yeah, but I don't want to overestimate the president here. I mean, I think that he sort of tipped his hand there a little bit. It's like, I only care about me, right? I only care about what's happening now. I think he cares about legacy, but I think we know what his legacy is going to be. And I think he does. It's going to be propped up by the people that put him in the White House twice, and they're not going anywhere. And so if he's able to, I don't think he worries about that. I don't think that he sweats that. I think he just wants to do whatever works out for him in the moment. And, when I leave, I don't really care. It's not like he's a sort of someone who respects American history or has thought much about it when he got there. I mean, to be fair to him, he was unabashed about it. Like, he was saying that he learned on the job. And I'm not trying to necessarily be fair, but this is somebody who is clearly not steeped in the minutia of this. He's talking about, the longest speech ever, right? He's saying that he's going to give the longest speech ever. It's not going to be remembered except for its length, and that's okay with him. I mean, the Gettysburg Address was probably the most famous speech in American history, or up there. It was 10 sentences, right? But we remember the substance of that. He wants to be remembered for different things other than substance.
Yeah, I had the same thought as he began talking in respect to that question about, aren't you worried about Democrats and having power and what they're going to do and undo this and legacy? And I thought the same thing, which is he doesn't care about that, man. One and done. He, literally.
Yeah, exactly. Or 2 and done. 2 out of 3 and done. Yeah.
Mark, if I could interject, I actually disagree here, genuinely disagree. And part of why Donald Trump is in such a rush to put up this monument and reface the everything in Washington, D.C., or put his face on Mount Rushmore is because there's a part of him which still wants to be remembered fondly, even though, to Michael Shure's point, it ain't going to happen. But he still has a mind to that.
But Mo, I don't think you're disagreeing. I think we're saying the same thing. I think that the people that are going to remember him, though, are the people that are already going to remember him fondly. And so he's doing this for Donald Trump, not for legacy building. His legacy is going to come, his positive legacy is going to come from the people who see nothing wrong with him on a daily basis now. And I mean, you may be right? I mean, we're probably both right to some degree, but I just don't think that he's concerned with, legislation or Democrats coming here and undoing X, Y, and Z. As a matter of fact, I don't think when he gets to Y, he thinks about X anymore. I think he just moves on. He concentrates on Y and moves on to Z. So I don't think he has a lot of puts a lot into that part of legacy. Legacy to him is a statue. It's a name on a wall. It's that sort of thing.
I think he also, Michael, to be fair, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was just going to say, the overturning of Roe and some of the changes he's made with immigration and some of the things he wants. I think those are designed to sort of be enduring. He wants to see them endure, don't you think?
I don't know.
Give him a brag. I think he wants the brag.
I'm not going to agree with that because I think the brag is not that he overturned Roe. I don't think he thinks about Roe. I think he thinks about the fact that he will have had power for 8 years. I don't think it's what he did with the power. I may be wrong, and who am I to know? But that's not my gut feeling. I think that he panders to the people that will like him in order to get where he's going. He pandered to the Christian right. They said, we'll vote for you as long as you give us Christian judges. Okay. I'll get power. They can have their judges. I don't even know what the Supreme Court does. Right? I mean, there's so much of that motivates this guy that I don't think I think it's a very gray. I think all three of us are right to a degree. I mean, I think that Donald Trump is a gray area when it comes to what motivates him, except for the fact that his name motivates him. It always has. His name was always bigger and golder in New York on buildings. It wasn't about how beautiful the building was. It was about just seeing Trump. I always say he's a lot like Potter, the Lionel Barrymore character in It's a Wonderful Life. He just wants his name on everything, and the Pottersville and Potter this and Potter that. I think that's how it is with Trump.
I think he also is, he likes the theater and the power, right? I always feel like with Trump, it's power, it's self-enrichment. And
it's self-enrichment, right? And you don't get rich by overturning Roe v. Wade. That's
but that was a power flex, and you're right. It was transactional with his support, and so it's the power of self-enrichment, and then it's the theater of the office. I think he's very much into the grandeur of it all. So again, that play on the JFK Center for the Performing Arts, putting his name above JFK's. There, you're seeing it. That was important to him. It's such a grotesque thing, and yet he did it, and no one would dare speak to him about how wrong it was. And so now the name has been forced down, and so it sits behind a tarp because he doesn't want people to actually see that it's been taken down. It's crazy. There is nothing too petty. And and that is, I think, an extension of his power flex. And I was going to mention Jeanine Pirro, who is announcing this prosecution of an American Olympian for vandalism around the reflecting pool. Play for the guys, cut 7, if you would, Albert. Here's Puro making the announcement.
Should say that Puro is one of the people being talked about as a replacement for Alito on the Supreme Court.
Exactly. And boy, and this she was on the long con on this because she's been singing Trump's song for a while when she was on Fox News Channel. Go ahead, Albert. Sorry.
Was this part of the pool specifically? Was the sealant already partially removed? Did he rip it back and just describe in detail? Because he maintains that it looks the same as it did before he arrived. That's his.
I'm not going to get into the evidence, but what I told you is what our witnesses saw and experienced. There was an effort, a violent effort to rip up the sealant from the bottom of the pool. And irrespective of whether or not, we think that, there is some situation that preceded it, we can state and prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he caused damage, and that damage is over $1,000.
Okay, this is crazy, and this is again.
No way, over $1,000.
Well, that's key because that's isn't that $1,000
felony? No, I know.
Yeah,
it's a felony.
Exactly. It's a felony.
That's why I'm saying, that number, huh?
It just happens to be. We've calculated it right. But this is the thing. This is utter absurdity, over the top absurdity, but it's real. And then you come to the story that the FBI under Kash Patel is sending analysts to Atlanta to look into the 2020 election again. I mean, this Fulton County, Georgia crap, where you send earnest FBI agents, workers, analysts down to look at something that's total bullshit is, again, a colossal waste of money and just designed to increase the puffery around kissing the Trump agenda.
This is for Mo, but let me just interject with that's exactly what I was saying before, right? That's what he cares about. He doesn't care about substance. He wants people to say he really won in 2020. He wants the world to say that. They're not going to say it, but he's going to die trying,
But that speaks to wanting to be remembered as a winner. In his idea, and maybe we debate the idea of what the definition of legacy is in this moment, but to him, his legacy must include not losing to Joe Biden. His legacy must include erasing the 2 impeachments. His legacy must include making sure that anyone who's been wronged during the Biden administration, inclusive of the J6 crowd, are pardoned and somehow some sort of receive some sort of compensation. So I guess the definition of legacy is different, but in his mind, he wants to write how he will be remembered in a historical sense.
That matters, I think, because he's worked so hard to try to get the impeachments expunged. So, I mean, I think there is support for that, and even the legal cases after expunged. But listen to this memo sent to all field offices and reviewed by journalists at CBS and other networks. The Directorate of Intelligence requesting, quote, surge support to Atlanta to assist in what it's calling FBI Director Kash Patel's priority investigation. The memo didn't explicitly discuss the nature of the investigation, but of course it's because of Fulton County and the 2020 election. The memo calling on every FBI field office to assign analysts seeking to reach a total of 260 analysts. Large field offices are being asked to contribute 8 analysts each, so that they are going to review 708 records each and complete the work by July 17th. This is all in the memo. This is a ridiculous play toward what we're talking about, which is to somehow justify the notion that there are irregularities in the 2020 election, Michael.
Yeah, and it's this sort of myopic concentration on it, as Mo was saying, of something that is now, I mean, we're talking 6 years ago, right? It's an absurd thing that even if they were to have found something, what is that, which they won't, what is the upshot? But Raffensperger, the former Secretary of State's not in office anymore. Gabe Sterling, who oversaw the elections, not in office anymore. Both of them Republicans. They probably think now they have an upper hand and can get something that they've never been able to get. What they forget, too, is that there are some major major races going on in Georgia, and no Republican wants to be associated with this in what is becoming statewide a somewhat purple state, right? They have two Democratic senators from Georgia. There's a chance that they're going to get a Democratic governor. People don't want to get involved with Donald Trump's follies down in Georgia. So it's not going to be politically expedient. That's what you're going to start seeing a little bit more of here and there around the country is from Republicans is wanting to distance themselves a little bit on occasion. And when it's convenient, this for Georgians would be a convenient time. Bye, Mo.
Yeah, and it's interesting too that you make a good point when you talk about the fact that sort of the stink of Trump, maybe it's his policy, maybe it's his style, maybe it's the economy, maybe it's his death grip on this stuff, the 2020 election irregularities. It's starting now to it plays with his functionaries like Patel and all of those who are the enablers, the Bessents of the world, et cetera.
Yeah.
But you're right. The politics of it is no longer working for him, even with the base that's melting away. You know, Mo?
It is, and yes, that's good news if you talk about the overall weakening of Trump, but there's a lot more that he can and he will do. We kind of glossed over it when we talked about Jeanine Pirro possibly ascending to the Supreme Court. It could be Aileen Cannon, and we still don't, and I'm not trying to be morbid, but I'm saying, let's be honest, there is the distinct possibility that Alito will retire, and we don't know what is even up with Mitch McConnell and that particular vote. So I believe that there is something that's going to happen between now and the end of this calendar year going into the midterms, which is going to relate to the Supreme Court. And yeah, we're looking at Aileen Cannon and or Jeanine Pirro ascending to the Supreme Court, dependent upon what happens with Mitch McConnell and some other things.
Those are all the wrong changes to the Supreme Court. I mean, the Supreme Court should be expanded. The Supreme Court, also should be term limited. And this is obviously in my judgment. And the way that it's revered as the tribal elders has less and less cred as far as I'm concerned. They end up, they really have always been political on some level, but there really is no even sense of impartiality anymore, Michael?
Well, they're getting the Republicans are getting people from the far right of the party to sit on the bench. So you're not going to have these sort of transformations like you had, say, with someone like Anthony Kennedy or John Paul Stevens to a greater degree. And to that end, you're going to be getting these sort of traps, which is why expanding the court, or I think, Mark, your solution of term limits on the court is the best thing for this court, because you're going to be replacing same with same on both sides, right? The question is, where's the Senate and how many senators? Should the rules be changed on how many senators are required? Should it be 2/3? Does that protect the sort of impartiality, the sort of aspired to impartiality of the court? Maybe that's the best way, is to make it a 2/3 or a 3/5 majority that you have to get in order to push someone across the finish line, not 51-49 as some of this has borne out.
Boy, 2/3 just seems like such
well,
a high bar
but 60 votes, 3/5 doesn't, right?
Yeah,
60-40 doesn't, and that does force you in most senates to find somebody that is going to have appeal across the aisle, which you don't have right now.
I want to quickly ask you to look at this, Mo. This is Jack Smith breaking silence and sitting down for an interview. Here's cut 9, and he talks sort of about the state of justice in America and the state of the Department of Justice in America. Here's Jack Smith, the former special counsel.
Investigated cases focusing on the facts and the law throughout my career. We did this case the same way, under the same standards. And, the thing that's, I think, important for your viewers to know is those standards are not meant to change from one administration to the next. And in my experience, until now, they haven't. And so, I think we are facing an attack on the rule of law that is different in kind and scope to anything I've seen in my lifetime. One of the problems right today, besides the retribution prosecutions, is that the Justice Department can't do its job, right? If you go to court, explain that. Well, if you go to court and the judges don't trust you, you can't do the basic things that you need to do to represent the American people in court. And we have seen judges across the country say they can't trust prosecutors anymore. And that has such a cascading effect on any sort of case. I can't count how many opinions, But one opinion like that in my career would have been seismic. People would not know what to do if a court said, trust that's been built over generations has been lost in days, right? And that's happening every day. And so regardless of what you think politically, they're just not effective at doing their job anymore.
Well, let me ask you first.
So, again, I think he may be saying those things that we all observe, but he obviously has tremendous credibility in regard to those observations. Mo?
He does. And I saw that interview in its entirety when it was live, and I've seen the analysis since then. And I appreciated Jack Smith being willing and courageous enough to come forward and speak his mind. There's only one thing that I wish he would have done. It's one thing to say, hey, we're in a dangerous time. And I'm just paraphrasing what he's saying. And he can say it's an unprecedented time. But I don't know if he conveyed the urgency of the moment, of the level of danger. It's almost like he saying, this is my metaphor or analogy, where you're in a car with no seatbelts. Well, that's kind of dangerous. But if you leave out the fact that it's careening downhill at 260 miles an hour and the steering wheel's locked, then that conveys a heightened sense of urgency and danger. And I don't know if he conveyed the immediacy of how we need to act and what we need to do in this particular moment. Yes, the DOJ has been compromised. Yes, the SCOTUS is more partisan than ever. Yes, it's always been political, but it's now all the way leaning towards partisanship. This, I think, underscores how we're maybe not aware of how close to the cliff we actually are. And maybe that's just my read, but it seems like even Jack Smith is not conveying just how close to the edge we are.
He does speak like sort of a reasoned prosecutor, Michael, his style. I don't know if he, as Mo said, sold the urgency. He spoke, though, to how broken things are.
Yeah, and I, unlike Mo, I did not see the interview in its entirety. I read about it, the recap of it. But the nice thing about being, in Jack Smith's situation is he can be open and honest about what happened and what's wrong and what's broken and what needs fixing. And so I think it's more a lesson on civics than it is, we all have our frustrations about how all of that went and we're still angry and et cetera. But I think this is a civics lesson about what is really fundamentally broken in our judicial system now.
You talk about a civics lesson. I wanted to finish up with you guys by having you, especially on the 250th birthday of the country, the origins of the country, those things that went into crafting this nation's founding documents, even the philosophy and blueprint moving forward. It's a lot of talk right now. And among those who are speaking about it is the award-winning professor Timothy Snyder, who we've had on the show before, and he's just a brilliant he wrote a book called On Tyranny, and he sat down with Katie Couric and spoke about the rise of Christian nationalism. I just want you to play a couple minutes of this with you. Go ahead, cut 5, please, Albert.
There were fewer schools that were posting the 10 Commandments.
Yeah. Which violates the First Amendment of our Constitution, then these numbers would be lower, right?
So stop for a second. I was going to say that the numbers he's talking about are in polling the number of GOP voters, particularly who identify as Christian nationalists, and the number of GOP, again, it leans heavily GOP in this polling, the number of GOP voters who would be comfortable with America being officially a Christian nation. And so that's what he's speaking to when he talks about the numbers. Go ahead.
I fully believe that part of it is the success of the attempt to blot out what U.S. history actually is. That's a big part of what's going on. And another part of what's going on is that people would like to think that the country is founded on the views that are convenient to they themselves. And the nature of a democracy, if it's going to work, any kind of system of division of powers, is that you're going to be in a constant position of inconvenience. Nothing is ever going to be perfectly aligned with your own point of view. And that's why Christian nationalism, or any analogous form of nationalism, which is based upon metaphysical views or truths that are inaccessible to normal investigation is going to be dangerous, because it means that I'm going to insist that the government works in a way which is convenient for my sense of right and wrong, and my sense of right or wrong goes beyond anything that I can communicate to anybody else.
I would.
Yeah. So I really want to get your thoughts on this, guys. It does seem as though a desire for Christianity specifically, not for religious freedom, but for Christianity, and of course, even Christianity is different things to different people. It's more a part of the conversation than ever before. Even Hegseth praying to Jesus, specifically Jesus, in his remarks before all of the top admirals and generals that he had collected some time ago. Speak to this, if you would, Mo.
And I say this as a Christian first and foremost. I realize when people are abusing Christianity for the sake of the secular world and politics. Now it is a t-shirt to put on to let other people know what they supposedly believe in a political sense, not what they actually do or how they live in a personal sense. And which goes back to the civics conversation, where this is not a Christian nation. It's not like you'll open up the Declaration of Independence or the Federalist Papers or the U.S. Constitution and find the word Jesus. And if you're actually talking about Christianity, you need to invoke John 3:16 and believe that God so forever loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. We're not a Christian nation. We're not a theocracy. But in contemporary politics, it's used as a signpost to say, in a political sense, who we dislike, who we hate, and who politically we will support, which is an anathema to everything which is in the actual Bible and New Testament.
I would have read more Bible if I knew it was there's some blah, blah, blah parts, because I can understand that. Michael, please.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to top what Mo said there. I'm, I at a time when people are sort of enamored of a liar, of someone who misrepresents the truth at every turn, yet at the same time tries to lay claim to the religious in America. We're exposing a great deal of hypocrisy, which I think will endure. But that is, I think, why there's this desperate bid to hang on to religion by so many people, to say that that is what defines this country. The same way you're seeing it with people getting, in an uproar over people speaking Spanish, that there's so many non-English speakers in New York, right? That we don't have an official language in this country. We don't have an official religion, and that has to be hammered home. It's hard to do. It's a political third rail for a lot of people, because when you offend the religious of any party, you are treading in water that is very difficult. But when you criticize people for using religion, it's safer. It just doesn't ring as hard.
I appreciate both of you for your time, for all the ways in which you have shed light on a lot of areas that we discuss, and you continue to do it. And I wish you both a happy 4th of July celebration, whatever it may involve. So thank you, guys.
Okay. Curiously, it's going to involve being sort of nostalgic for the eloquence of Gerald Ford on the,
right.
the bicentennial.
We all remember the bicentennial, right?
No one has ever said that before. So,
yeah, everything seems kind of lower key compared to. Oh, this may be a lot lower key than he expected. From what I'm reading. Right. All right, guys, appreciate you. Yeah, Michael Shure, Mo Kelly, bravo. See ya.
The Mark Thompson Show.
Who's Mark Thompson?
Loving it. Glad you guys are here. Appreciate the guys stopping through. A lot of shows are dark today, as you know.
What?
I know it's a holiday, but we are live, and we've got our A team. Kim, fresh off a victory in the Hall of Fame Bay Area Audiocaster of the Year Award. I mean, it is pretty big time. And if you missed it, go back and watch as we were joined in the first few minutes of the show by her strongest competitor.
Yeah.
Who turned out to be a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And we knew he was going to be nice. We also knew that, it would likely be a close competition. And Kim McAllister named Audiocaster of the Year. Where do you think you're going to put that plaque, Kim?
Probably right behind you on that shelf next to the Tony Award.
I am.
What?
What would be your second choice for putting the plaque somewhere?
On the desk over here next to the Tenuta wine.
How are you going to celebrate?
In better shape, but I don't think we're in wildly better shape.
What's that, Albert?
Yeah.
How are you going to celebrate? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Celebrate this very cool victory.
I like to celebrate by taking some hits from Mark Thompson. You know, when he cares enough to mention it, that's when you know you've really made it. You've made an impact on him. You know, yeah.
They're
going to give the award out on July 18th at the Radio Day by the Bay in Alameda.
Oh, is that right? So we know now when they're going to give it out? Oh, that's great. Radio Day by the Bay.
I don't know if I have to prepare remarks, but, you know, that's what I'll be doing.
They'll tell you, I'm sure, what they expect. That's really exciting. And so we knew that you'd have some kind of official presentation associated with the award, but we didn't know where that official presentation would take place. Will you publicize it here if you'll be there? And I'm sure there'll be some members of our audience and the after party live audience that will want to turn out and show you support.
Yeah, maybe. And that would be lovely. Thank you.
Yeah. So we will do that. Albert,
wow, that's almost a major announcement.
Yeah, you're right. It's not quite a major announcement, though, but it is almost. So
we'll need some B-roll. We need some B-roll and some behind the scenes of that too.
Yeah, we totally do. Richard Delamater will come out.
Yeah, either him or Calvin. We'll see who can make it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Kelly Malloy with a $2 super sticker. What up,
Big
Kelly?
shout out.
Kelly's an OG of the show. Luis, what I want is for him to drop from a heat stroke, but since he's Dr. Jesus Savior MD, that's a great idea for a show. Dr. Jesus Savior MD. I probably won't get the outcome I want, Ella. Well,
he has like 20 or 30 doctors who say he's okay, so I think he'll be
better
fine.
than okay. Like we've never seen anything like it. You know what I mean?
Curious that he needs so many doctors, though, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen it in order.
Like it. Yeah, it's true. Well,
he
there are a
got
lot
it
of
in
them.
order, and he gets extra points. So that's he proved it.
Milton Watkins, master bookbinder from Australia. Happy 4th of July to all of you USA listeners of the Mark Thompson Show. It's already July 4th here in Australia. Hope the people at the fair are insured.
Watch for falling debris.
That is terrific. Oh,
Don't talk to me that way.
That is really funny. I love it. Richard Delamater says with a $2 super chat, hey, Albert, when your baby comes, family portrait? Oh, I'm sure there'll be a family portrait then. Yeah.
Probably, yeah. This is the only time I'd like to match with clothing. I'm a younger sibling. We were matching all the time. I don't like it, but I'll do it for the family.
Yeah, you see why they did it for you, right?
I think Richard Delamater wants to be in the family portrait.
Oh, I see. That's what he was really asking. Yeah,
he wasn't showing enough skin.
What?
Was that Richard who sent the picture? I don't think he was showing enough risque skin, and for that, that's what.
Yeah, Richard sent the picture of himself with the wild
double
glasses.
Bird.
Yeah. Luis with a $10 super chat. Love you, Luis.
Big shout
Thanks
out.
for supporting the show. My hypothesis: cost of the combined grift of no-bid contracts for the pool, scam, carnival, plane, etc., far outweigh losses from birth tourism, transgender, all other sideshows. So many focus all other sideshows that so many focus on. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, these are distractions, all of this stuff. And at the same time, this is an extraordinary thing to watch this level of grift at the highest levels of government. And others are in on it. You know, I mean, the Witkoffs of the world, the Witkoff, Trump pairing, the Sons with World Liberty Financial. I told you about that like hours after they formed it here on this channel. We talked about the fact that they get a piece of every little bit. That was when they were selling the hell out of the meme coins. You could only get them on that platform. Of course, the meme coins were the double grift. You're buying them. That money is going to Trump. And then World Liberty Financial gets a piece of that transaction, and that money's going to Trump. Now, it doesn't bother me in a way because he's grifting his own people. I mean, if you want to buy a meme coin for $10,000, it's your money. Go ahead and do it. If you think that that will somehow ingratiate yourself to the president, do it. The reason it was distressing to me was because it was a way in which world leaders and foreign interests and corporate interests could all buy a piece of the presidency. They could buy a favor because the meme coin allowed them to continue with a transaction that would money those interests I just described, and then they could say, hey, you know, we bought several $1 million worth of meme coins. This is just one way in which there was a pay-to-play going on with the Trump administration and continues to be. So, but for the average a-hole who spent $10,000 for this thing, I don't care about that. Sure, Trump made money off of it. I mean, you know, he's selling everything from golf shoes to hats. It's crazy. I mean, it's unseemly. It's also tacky and weird. But if you guys want to buy them, buy them. Now, the no-bid contracts and the taxpayer money, that's what I care about. So you take a Qatari jet for $400 million, I have to pay $1 billion to bring it up to code, if you will, to make it work. There he is with his golden shoes. And then you're going to take that jet with you when you hit the road at the end of your presidency? It's outrageous. The whole thing's outrageous. The stink around that Qatari jet, and, you know, they wanted to give it to Trump, but Trump said, you know, that's an emolument. It'll look weird. Said this through his people. And so it became a gift to the Pentagon. And the Pentagon then brought it up to speed with that $1 billion it cost us. And Trump is going to take it with him. I mean, if it's a gift to the American people, why is he taking it with him? Those gold shoes are hot looking, though, I have to say. So, I mean, if you're looking for something to, you know, I do want to mention, what do I want to mention, Kim? You're the award winner.
You want to mention cupcakes.
Cupcakes are the thing we talk about. You know, I just got an email while the show's going on. We send our Sweet 106 Bakery cupcakes. And by the way, we have to buy them the same way you do. Like, I have to buy the cupcakes and then send them out to one of our contributors. That's what I did with Jarrett Yates Sexton. He came on. He came on. There he is. He said, okay, listen, I don't know how it's possible, but y'all undersold how good these things are. All we talked about is how great they are. And somehow he says, I don't know how it's possible, but y'all undersold how good they are. These are layered cupcakes. They are created by Christy, who won Cupcake Wars twice. So she knows what she's doing. They are natural. By the way, if you're vegan or gluten-free, gluten-sensitive, they have those as well. And many flavors that are all so delicious. Find the one that will scratch your itch. Yeah.
Oh, they all scratch the itch. They're better than real cupcakes, because in real cupcakes, like traditional cupcakes, you know, there's never enough frosting, and then you get down, and then there's the cakey part, and you don't get that perfect bite. But with Sweet 106 Bakery cakes, it's layers of frosting and cupcake, and she has concocted the perfect mix and the perfect balance and the perfect flavors. Everything about these, just amazing.
Yeah, there's the Dubai chocolate. Have you had them yet, Snyder, or not?
I have, and I am.
We sent them to you.
You sent me
That's more money out of my pocket.
A couple sample cupcakes, and I want to say the Snickers cupcake with little chunks of Snickers on the top, adorned with bits of my favorite candy bar, was an absolute dream for flavor, sweetness. That elevated feeling when you're all sugar bombed out. Oh my God.
Yeah, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Christy is truly royalty when it comes to baking.
And she is.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
All right, enough. It's Sweet 106 Bakery. I think we have communicated to you the taste experience. Ms. Organic says my cupcakes just arrived today, and brownie mix, which you can also get there.
Let me know how the
Suite of
mix
Rooms,
is.
SUITE. Sweet106bakery.com. Use our discount code MARKT for 15% off. I hope we used our discount code when we sent the cupcakes to Snyder and to Jared Yates Sexton. That would be ironic if we didn't. But very happy that you received them and you were so happy. Agree. Snicker was my fave, says Yvonne Beach Bunny.
Yeah, man. A woman of great taste.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
I've never seen anything like it.
All right. It's sweet106bakery.com. Mark T at checkout for 10% off.
The Mark Thompson Show.
This is Mark Thompson.
Thank you for being here. So many shows are off the air today. I don't blame them, but we are live. We are on. Michael Snyder, the Culture Blaster, with what you can watch and stream coming up. And now we segue into a segment we brought with us from the radio. This is Friday Fabulous Florida.
It's time for Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
A look at the weirdest stories from our weirdest state.
Man trying to steal a medical helicopter waiting to transport patients after a crash on I-75.
No way.
A Florida man claiming he saw the Antichrist moments before troopers say that he lost control of his pickup truck and crashed into another vehicle on I-75 in Hernando County is accused then of trying to steal a medical helicopter that landed at the scene to take patients to an area hospital. First, a collision. Riley Ferrer, traveling northbound on I-75 after midnight, lost control of his pickup. Truck veered off the road, struck another vehicle, overturned in the woods. 2 people inside the second vehicle suffered serious injuries in the crash. They shut down the northbound lane so a medical transport helicopter could land to transport the patients. And troopers said that while fire and rescue crews were preparing the 2 patients for the chopper, Ferrer ran past all first responders at the scene. Then he tried to steal the medical helicopter. He told officials that he saw the Antichrist moments before he lost control of his pickup truck, and that's why he crashed.
Oh.
Well, he'll be looking for the Antichrist in prison because he is going to jail. Sorry.
High marks from the ladies. Yvonne gives him an 8, 7.5 from teacher Lori.
He is attractive, I have to say. He's a good-looking man.
How is it we never hear about the Uncle Christ, just the Antichrist?
Just the Antichrist.
That always confuses me.
Yeah, the Anti and Uncle Christ. He is, if you like him enough, waiting for $3,000 bond to be posted. Yeah, so you can break him out.
The romantic surname Ferrar.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He's from a great family, the Jose Ferrer family. Yeah,
He might be the wayward cousin or something. We don't know. The
could
nephew.
be. Well, ask the Antichrist. He's probably aware.
It almost looks like he's wearing a straitjacket in that picture.
It almost looks like he's wearing like a Patriots. I thought the New England Patriots kind
like
of
a little
hoodie.
team issue, like locker room apparel.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, but well, I mean, they let you wear what you want for the booking photos sometimes. In Nassau County, the sheriff's office there reporting that a Florida man is arrested after driving a tractor to. Wait a minute. Driving a tractor to tow truck from the DUI crash scene. Wait a minute. Let me read into this. He drove a tractor to tow his truck away from a DUI crash scene. That's what happened. I see.
He didn't want to wait for the regular tow?
Well, he wanted probably to get out of there before anybody else showed up.
Sure.
Witnesses saying that the driver had left the scene to go to a nearby residence. And the driver returned on his tractor to tow his truck out of the ditch where he had ended up. And of course, apparently he was stumbling over the tractor. That caused deputies to conduct a field sobriety exercise. And no surprise, he was under the
willing
influence.
to bet my lunch that there's alcohol involved.
He said that a 15-pack of cold beer and multiple open containers could be found. And sure enough, deputies found them in his truck.
Do you think they'll charge him twice? That's 2 separate vehicles.
Yeah.
He drove the truck and the tractor.
I think they will. They usually don't let up on the gas when it comes to the charges. And finally, a Florida man suing a Waffle House. He says that the ad that they posted was distracting and it caused him to trip and fall on what was an abnormally high curb. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. They, and I'll just introduce you to a guy who's an older fella. We kind of like our older boys and girls, but this guy seems kind of maybe misguided. His name is Edward Bolds. He claims that the Waffle House's window, and the ads they put in the window distracted him and caused a fall on an unmarked curb. So the 84-year-old is saying that he tripped over the curb, which was abnormally high, and it was not maintained well, and it blended into the parking lot, and that created a trip hazard.
I blame you.
He wants $50,000.
I blame you.
In damages. The Waffle House denies liability and blames Bolds.
I blame you.
Oh. They say it was his negligence. Nobody else has complained about this. We get it. It's a curb. You got to step over it. But he says that this entire thing caused permanent injuries, Kim, and that will impact his ability to visit other Waffle Houses. Yeah.
So how old is this guy?
He's 84.
He needs a balance class, and he needs someone to walk with him.
You see there, we're showing you the ad that he feels distracted him in the window.
No.
But he feels as though justice needs to be done. The size, placement, and orientation of the window advertisements posed a distraction. The advertisements capture the attention of customers approaching the sidewalk, divert their attention away from the trip hazard that's posed by the curb. So
look over here, something shiny.
Come on, look. If there had been a maple syrup spill in front of the Waffle House, I could see if they were responsible for that. I could understand a lawsuit pending, but this is just...
Oh, they're black and white, clear as crystal.
Oh, yeah. Now, that, my friends, is the ongoing case of the Waffle House lawsuit. It's time to pick a favorite. We don't want to. It is in the bylaws of the show. I'll remind you, so you'll remember what you're voting on. The Florida man trying to steal the medical helicopter while he had crashed his car on I-75. The Florida man arrested after driving the tractor to tow his truck from a DUI crash scene, and the Florida man suing the Waffle House, saying that he was distracted by the ad in the window, and that caused him to trip and fall on the abnormally high curb. Is it the chopper crook who claimed the Antichrist was speaking to him, the tractor driver, or is it the Waffle man? A lot tractor tower. Tractor tow's getting a lot.
Yeah.
Tractor tow getting a lot of love. Double DUI getting love. Helicopter heist, says Arnold Willis. You can vote here in the chat live, and you can also vote after hours and after hour trading. We do check the comments to see which was the one that you feel is the most Florida. Let me ask, Albert, before you say anything, let me ask the Hall of Fame broadcaster from the Bay Area, Kim McAllister. Kim, please.
I'm going to go with CC, Antichrist medic. That someone would think they could pilot a chopper on a freeway is wild to me. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, let Jesus be my. What is it? Jesus
co-pilot.
Jesus is my co-pilot. Right? I'm the Antichrist, and Jesus is my co-pilot.
God, Bachelors number 1 and 2 are so attractive. It's hard for me to pick from all three. I know you were going to ask me next, Mark.
I was.
And I have to go with Antichrist, Uncle Christ, whatever you want to call him. I mean, there's so much going on there. It's so Floridian. There's a car crash. There's a helicopter theft. And there is, of course, the Holy Ghost. I mean, that's got to be. And also, as people have said, not an unpleasant looking guy,
nice haircut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, what the
in the chat, Albert, who walks away with it?
Yeah, I think the helicopter guy. I do like this Waffle House story. It's a great ad. It's a shout out to ad people. It's good enough that people are hurting themselves to look at. Also, it was a bold move to. I like the taking it to court rather than confronting the staff, because the staff at Waffle House known to fight back. So
what they're not telling you is that ad campaign developed by Don Draper in the 60s.
Oh yeah, probably so. I'm sure it's been around for a while. In typical Albert fashion, he has focused on the danger that was averted had he actually gone in and made a scene at the Waffle House. He lawyered up and took him to court. Yeah, I actually, you're right. Probably the most Florida thing is the. There's so many. There are a couple of drunks. The guy trying to, jack a helicopter is probably the most Florida. But I also have a soft spot in my heart for the Waffle House guy. The 84-year-old trying to, hit that half-court shot on his way out. With a $50,000 lawsuit. Anyway, that, my friends, is Friday Fabulous Florida.
This has been Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
Y'all come back now here.
The Mark Thompson Show.
This is Mark Thompson.
I am sharing my coffee with you on this wonderful day, and you. Coachella Valley coffee. The Coachella Valley coffee dudes shared, and this is the best coffee on earth. It is just so wonderful. They shared a picture of themselves, and I've lost my Albert. I think he's just dropped out for a second. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I'll take another sip.
We should note that's a different harp glissando than the one that introduces me. Am I correct in that?
It is different, yeah. Yours is a different harp sound. This is it. Thank you, Albert, for finding it. These wonderful Coachella Valley guys climbed to the top of the Empire State Building, and they put up the Coachella Valley Coffee logo there on their banner. Pretty great. Yeah. Though that is the Roastmaster General, and they're like Batman and Robin, and his trusted associate. They curate the finest coffee beans and tea leaves from around the world. You get 10% off by using our discount code MARKT. You can see tasting profiles and all the notes on all the beans. It's hand roasted. This is a boutique roastery. It is not a discount house, and that's why I want you to use that 10% code, MARKT, at checkout. Find the tea, the coffee that works for you, and enjoy it. CoachellaValleyCoffee.com.
Put that coffee down.
You can even order merch off the site, whatever you want, however much you want, whatever quantity you want. If you get a subscription, you get 10% off everything with MARKT. Coachella Valley Coffee.com.
Mark, are you here?
Yeah, I'm right
Yes, he's here. Hello, Mark.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm very, very, very back.
The Mark Thompson Show.
I am.
Mark, are you here?
Yeah, I said I'm here. Okay, let's get it on. We've got the great Culture Blaster standing by.
Mark, are you here?
All right, I am. I have to say, Culture Blaster, and this is a tough thing to say as an American, I won't be on the National Mall. I expect I probably won't make it, but I'm excited that you're here. And now, without any further delay, how about a guy who knows more about film than any of us? I think you are the brilliant, artistic, cultural mind that I only aspired to as a younger man.
Don't hide your light under a bushel, Mark.
I think you're without peer, if I can say that.
Thank you.
All the subtitle movies you like, the Marvel movies you like, the okay, I got it. Sorry. He comes and goes on a rainbow. He is the brilliant Michael Schneider.
Oh, thank you to our fearless leader, Mark, who is actually going to be heading out on vacay for a little bit. So this is our last chance to
going to Europe to try to rehabilitate the American reputation, Michael.
I have it on good authority that J.D. Vance is accompanying you. Is that right? Anyway.
Mark, are you here?
Howdy to Fresh-Faced Daddy. He's no longer Fresh-Faced Albert. He's Fresh-Faced Daddy.
Albert, thank you.
And ballot box stuffing aside, congrats to Kim McAllister, named Audiocaster of the Year via the vote overseen by that august body, the Bay Area Radio Hall of Fame. We are.
Did you vote for Kim?
I did once because I'm not, a craven toady. But I do want to say that she deserves every kudos. She is tireless. She's hardworking, and she's insufferably pleasant. We love you, Kim.
Well, you got the first part right. She's insufferable.
Well, there you go. Hey, it is July 4th weekend, celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. Just in time for the whole thing to crash and burn. Thanks, Obama. Anyway, speaking of the actual responsible party, the Mango Mussolini wants to be on Mount Rushmore.
No.
Look, I checked with my people at Sherwin-Williams, who told me there isn't enough orange paint in the world to do him justice up there.
Yeah.
So forget about it. Before we get to the movies, some nightlife and art notes. The Forever Grateful Art Show about the history and the poster art and all these aspects of the Grateful Dead opens officially tonight at the Haight Street Arts Center in San Francisco on Haight Street. And there is a massive reproduction of their sound system, miniaturized, the wall of sound that over the course of the show is playing rare live tapes of the Grateful Dead. And this covers their history from the mid-'60s, I think, to the mid-'90s, something like that. It is really a remarkable selection of art and memorabilia, and I wrote about it in the current edition of The Voice of San Francisco.
I love it.
And I just want people to be cognizant of it. And
that's thevoicesf.org.
Yes, it is. Okay. But we are so excited about the World Cup. I was at when I was in San Francisco, and I'm glad to be back in LA. I was at a Mission District bar during the Mexico-Ecuador game.
Oh, wow.
It was insane to be in the middle of that crowd cheering Mexico on. It was fantastic. And to that end, I wanted to point out that there is a new show tonight at La Luz de Jesus on Hollywood Boulevard in the Los Feliz area. New works by 4 artists, including a timely solo exhibition from Jorge R. Gutierrez entitled Football, Football, Football.
Wow, how appropriate.
I know, and I looked at some of the work, and it's, it just pops. Really some great stuff out there, and I do want people to support the arts no matter where you are in this great country.
That's one of the things that you do, Culture Blaster. You bring attention to the arts. And so it goes on this holiday weekend. Oh, great one. Tell us what you've got.
Okay. Now, oddly enough, there's not a lot coming out in the movie theaters for July 4th weekend. Maybe they're scared of the big blockbuster that is in the theaters as of right now. Minions and Monsters. I know. I'm not that big a fan of that particular franchise. I mean, Toy Story 5 was wonderful and exquisite, and I've enjoyed some of these Minions movies, but I really don't think they're high art, and they don't necessarily emotionally move me. This latest film in the successful animated franchise about the tribe of goofy, yellow capsule-shaped creatures who live to serve villains is the gooeyest, most frenetic, and most incoherent entry in the series to date. Maybe that's not a bad thing. I was talking to someone and they said, dude, it's the Minions verse. Of course it's incoherent. They're little babbling yellow capsule creatures. Anyway, this particular installment starts by recounting important moments in the centuries-long history of these gibbering screw-ups, while also focusing on 2 minions who want to tell the stories of their adventures and discover the perfect means to do so when the entire troupe ends up in Hollywood during what seems to be the 1920s.
Oh, that sounds kind of fun.
The minions decide, these 2 minions decide they're going to become filmmakers and, tell their story. And it's all good until a book of spells taken from a wizard that they served in an earlier time opens a portal to a dark dimension where monsters dwell, hence Minions and Monsters. And of course, you have to have action and craziness and frenzy to keep people staring at the screen. I guess it's kind of meant as a love letter to movie making and that classic Hollywood era, but chronological becomes illogical when a major reference to a 1950s sci-fi icon, I won't say who, lands in this mishmash. I mean, what are they doing? I guess the craziness and the
well, I mean, once
lunacy-
you're time traveling, maybe there's a little people drop in from other time periods.
I guess so. And I don't know. There are some good gags and a lot of meta humor.
Kim, what do you think? Kim
I
just
think there's 0% chance that Mark Thompson will go see the Minions movie.
You are so right. Now, I got to point out,
based on this review, probably not.
There's a star-studded group of voice actors here.
Oh, maybe I will. Please star-stud me.
Allison Janney is the voice of a kind of museum docent who starts telling the story that's behind this particular movie to a group of people that are walking through this museum exhibit about the Minions.
I see.
And so she's top-notch. But you also get vocal performances by Christoph Waltz, Jeff Bridges, Jesse Eisenberg. Zoe Deutsch plays this kind of adorable flapper. And, she kind of can do no wrong. If you haven't seen her in voicemails for Isabel, her wonderful rom-com on Netflix, you're doing yourself a great disservice. But all that aside, I'll be fair about this. The kiddies are going to love it. It looks dazzling. It's 1 hour and 30 minutes long. That seems tight, but it feels a bit long. The requisite city-destroying mayhem that you always expect in the last act for these things. I mean, kids love the Minions, and there's fun to be had for the little ones and a lot of in-jokes about the movie industry. So I'm going to give it a tentative okay.
All right.
But I do prefer the Minions films with Steve Carell voicing the hapless and secretly kind-hearted supervillain and Minion Master Gru, who, along with his mate and kids, is just easier to care about than these little guys, these Berserko. They become the face of the Illumination Studios, and Universal is marketing them like crazy. I got to go to the City Walk.
Do they have something there about?
There's going to be like somebody in a Minions costume running around staring people.
Sure.
Anyway, let's just move on. Director Pierre Coffin, by the way, is back again to do this.
They speak then. The Minions speak.
Gibber.
That's what I thought. You don't really understand what they're saying.
No, it's like.
So how do you know what they're saying?
Their behavior. And the things that they do, and they're almost indestructible. So no matter how slapsticky things get and how much they're bounced around, they are incredibly durable.
All right, moving on. Great culture blaster.
Do so. Let's move on to Young Washington. Speaking of Christian nationalism, which you were earlier,
yes,
the historical drama Young Washington is the latest movie from Christian-skewed film company Angel Studios, and it isn't a particularly religious movie, but it is a little jingoistic, telling a biographical slice of George Washington's pre-Revolutionary War life and military career. By the way, as a young man, you see him chopping a tree down, but I don't know that it was a cherry tree. You remember that? I cannot tell a lie.
Yeah, I recall it.
I kept thinking, tell us it's a cherry tree. Come on, tell us it's a cherry tree. But he's chopping away. Anyway, this is kind of boilerplate, and it's as dry as a History Channel recreation at times. But it is elevated by, again, renowned actors in supporting roles. Ben Kingsley plays the governor of Virginia, who tasks young George with an assignment to go out into the Ohio territories where he kind of gets in trouble. Mary Louise Parker plays George's mom. Kelsey Grammer plays Lord Fairfax, as in Fairfax, Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
And Andy Serkis plays a British commander. I mean, these are pretty talented folks.
That's pretty good pedigree.
And there's a lot of beautiful scenery. The lesser-known William Franklin Miller as young George, who would be father of our country, isn't bad, but the by-the-numbers script, co-written by director John Irwin, does him no favors. I got to bring up Kelsey Grammer is pretty far right-wing, and during the end credits, he pops up. He's, how the Marvel movies have like a special secret end credits scene that's supposed to excite you and whatever. Kelsey shows up and he delivers a patriotic sermon and a request for donations to allow less fortunate people to see the movie, and we're going to make it the #1 movie in the U.S. on the country's 250th anniversary. I got to say, okay, America first. This movie was shot in Ireland, which may account.
Wow, that's a great fact.
It may account for the lush landscapes.
How many times? How many terms did George Washington serve? Does anybody know the answer to that? Not you, Culture Blaster.
No, it's another classic Mark Thompson time waster.
How many terms? Wait, should we ask Kim? Kim wants to weigh in on it. So I wanted the chat to answer, but let me give them a shot at it.
Don't use Google, Kim. Just tell us.
And don't look at the chat, Kim, which would be,
I blame you.
All right.
I'm going to say he served one term and then he bowed out because he didn't want there to be kings in this country. He didn't want people to serve and serve and serve. So he checked out after only one term.
Kim is sort of right, and here is what she's right about. The second part of what she said, he did bow out because he didn't want anything that was king-like. They wanted him to stay on. They begged him to stay on. He said no, but it was after 2 terms that he said that. But you get partial credit and a few points, and you also get courage points for weighing in on the answer.
I love that. But you know what people don't remember about George Washington is he insisted that he be up on Mount Rushmore. He said without any question, he demanded it.
All right, a culture back to young Washington.
Yeah,
so
right. It's in theaters.
It's in theaters.
It's kind of flat, But I mean, I learned a few things about his life, but I also felt like, I mean, like I said, it's kind of one of those History Channel docudramas. And yet elevated by these top-notch actors.
Great cast. What else do you have, Culture Blaster?
Okay, let's shift to something people can watch at home, and I hope enjoy as much as I did. Again, Netflix has come through with a movie that I found very entertaining. It's not the best of them, but it is the 3rd movie in the Enola Holmes series starring Millie Bobby Brown as Sherlock Holmes' brainy and cute little sister, Enola. And, I mean, Millie Bobby Brown is so appealing. And Enola Holmes 1 and 2 were a little better, but this is still a diverting time in front of the home screen with engaging actors cavorting in a very familiar playground, that being the Sherlock Holmes legend. And they focus on, of course, this latter-day addition to the legend who was created for a series of books that inspired these movies. And she starts out, Enola, as a teen girl detective in the first 2 movies, following in her big brother's footsteps. She's kind of like a Victorian Nancy Drew.
Right.
But in this 3rd installment of the series, she's now old enough to get married. Oh, they grow up so fast.
They do.
In front of our very eyes. And that's how Enola Holmes 3 starts. She's about to marry her sweetheart, Lord Tewkesbury, again played by Louis Partridge, in a very lavish ceremony on the island of Malta. But horrors, Sherlock, played again by the great Henry Cavill, isn't there. Could he have been kidnapped? And if so, why and by whom? And where's their feisty mother, Eudora, played once more by Helena Bonham Carter, not to mention their brother, Mycroft, who, by the way, isn't even mentioned. I don't know. I don't remember them even mentioning Mycroft. He was in earlier films. The non-traditional casting here and there, for instance, Himesh Patel, the British actor, playing Dr. Watson. And that might put off some hidebound traditionalists. You incels out there hate that. Come on, you do. How dare they put a man of Southeast Asian ethnicity in as Dr. Watson? That's unheard of. Well, guess what? Get over it. Patel is a terrific actor, and he plays Watson. This is directed by Philip Barantini, who did a movie that I highly recommend people seek out. If you like The Bear, and we're going to mention season 5 of The Bear in a moment, Boiling Point with Stephen Graham is one of the coolest movies about life inside a kitchen in a popular restaurant you're ever going to see. And Philip Barantini directed it. He directed this. Enola Holmes 3, like the other 2 entries in the series, written by Jack Thorne. He scripted all 3, so he knows the characters, and he keeps continuity in the same spirit throughout. The teenage detective thing gave the previous 2 movies some of their charm, and it may be gone now that Enola's on the verge of marriage, but man, she's still very watchable. She's a spunky young lady as embodied by Millie Bobby Brown. Enola Holmes 3, like the other 2 Enola Holmes movies, on Netflix.
That right Millie Bobby Brown, she started in Stranger Things?
Yeah, so Netflix has been like cozy, a home for her.
Wow.
And this is kind of the coolest thing she's done since Stranger Things, I think. Although I know there's plenty ahead for her. She's a talented young woman.
What TV series might you be recommending, great Culture Blaster?
I love film noir. I just talk about it here on the Mark Thompson Show, on whatever Culture Blast I'm doing. And I was completely enchanted by Sugar Season 1 on Apple TV.
Oh, I've seen the trailers. It looks good.
It's terrific. And Colin Farrell, I mean, he plays this noirish detective who's influenced by the movies in Hollywood, the film noir films. He watches them. He kind of emulates the lead characters.
Oh, that's kind of a cool idea.
And it's a modern day story. And yet he kind of lives this sort of retro life solving crime and what have you. And there's something very, very significant and different about John Sugar, which is revealed in the first series, which I will not mention here.
Don't spoil it. I definitely want to see it.
Regular viewers of the series know what I'm talking about. And, I don't want to blow it for anyone, but he's back and he's looking into, in the second series of Sugar episodes, he's looking into the disappearance and or death of a boxer, and he's asked to do an investigation by the boxer's brother, who's also a boxer. And obviously there are unsavory types. There's a lot of really great location shooting in Los Angeles, which I always get a kick out of insofar as I'm a part-time resident. And Colin Farrell is just, he's got it going on. He was wonderful as the Penguin in that wonderful miniseries. He's also supported by a pretty good cast, including British actress Laura Donnelly in the second series, playing a woman of mystery with an American accent, believable. Sasha Calle, who, speaking of Supergirl, which came out last year, was Supergirl in the previous set of DC movies. She plays kind of she's like a sneaky street level criminal type, but maybe she's being wooed over to the good side. I totally endorse
I'm in.
Sugar.
Sugar season 2 available now on what?
Apple TV.
Apple TV. What else do you have, a great culture blaster?
Cape Fear. We're going to stick with Apple TV for this one. Cape Fear is a miniseries that is based on John D. MacDonald's 1957 novel, The Executioners, but it was previously done as a film in 1962 with Robert Mitchum playing the psychopath Max Cady.
It's a really good movie, the old one, and even the redo with De Niro was good.
With De Niro, Scorsese did one in 1991, and essentially Max Cady is a convicted psychopath and killer, and he gets out. He's sprung from jail, and he decides he's going to take down the
prosecutor,
former public defender,
put him there.
Who he blames.
It was his defender? Oh, yeah, you're right, it was.
Who he blames for being stuck in prison.
Yeah, his defense wasn't good enough. That's how he ended up in prison, he said.
So to speak. But it may be that he belonged in prison.
Oh, no question about it.
There's a lot of questions that come up in this version of it. And what's interesting about it is they do a gender flip on the role of the Savannah, Georgia public defender from the husband in a family to the wife, and here played by Amy Adams with a kind of a wonky Southern accent, and the husband's played by Patrick Wilson, and he, in fact, is now the prosecuting attorney in the original case. So Max Cady has it in for both of them, and Cady is played by Javier Bardem, and it's a performance that's at least as good as De Niro's, I think, in the 1991 version.
Wow.
Maybe they stretch this baby out a little bit, but I'm caught up in it, and I can recommend Cape Fear for lovers of this kind of, dark
Tammy
thriller.
says it's scary, Michael.
It is scary, and Javier Bardem is pretty
scary guy. He was scary in No Country for Old Men.
Well, this is his first time to really sink his teeth into a character like that since the Coen brothers film No Country for Old Men, but it's quite good, and the supporting players are really wonderful here as well, including Margarita Laviva, who has been in the most recent Daredevil miniseries, and it's good stuff. And you want to hear who the executive producers are? Spielberg and Scorsese are both executive producers on this.
Scorsese back to the same franchise that he was involved with in '97. Michael, I'm loath to say this, but Albert has another job he has to dance to. So that's the only reason I could speak to you all day.
I'm just going to say quickly, I mentioned it earlier, The Bear wraps up its 5-season run.
Yes,
the 5th season, all the episodes dropped. If you know anything about it, it's about a chef who's become a kind of a Michelin-level chef who comes back to Chicago to run the family sandwich shop and turns it into an upscale gourmet-style restaurant called The Bear. And the cast is great. And this final season, essentially, over the course of 8 episodes, tells the story of one night in the existence of the restaurant. And this was created and directed largely by Christopher Storer, and the cast, the ensemble cast, oh my God. Jeremy Allen White plays Carmi, the main chef. Eben Moss Bachrach, his maitre d', Richie Ayo Edebury as an up-and-coming chef who works for the restaurant. They're all here, as well as phenomenal performances by the likes of Lisa Colin-Zayas, and let's not forget, I love the guy, Oliver Platt plays the investor, Cicero, Jimmy, and if you get a chance to see any of the early episodes, Jamie Lee Curtis gives an Emmy-winning performance.
That is a great episode. The what is it, Thanksgiving? Or
yeah. Oh my
Christmas
God, you'll be shattered by this.
It broke open the careers for a bunch of people that you mentioned in The Bear.
So true, and actually gave Abby Elliott, the daughter of Bob Elliott of Bob and Ray, since SNL, her first major platform to show what a good actress she is. The Bear is on FX, Disney Plus, Hulu. Again, season 5 wraps it up.
As usual, great information from the Culture Blaster. That's the Skinny on the Bear, season 5. He also likes Cape Fear on Apple TV, based on the novel. Javier Bardem in the role as the evil Max Cady. And Sugar, season 2 now. Colin Farrell, influenced by the noirish characters, is John Sugar, who's the lead character. Michael says it's good. Season 1 is good and season 2 is good. So jump on Sugar on Apple TV. Enola Holmes 3, the Millie Bobby Brown part, starring as a teen girl detective, earlier iterations of the first 2 movies. And now she's of marriage age, planning her wedding, and her fiance is missing.
No, her fiance is there. Sherlock is missing. Far more serious. Come on.
Henry Cavill is Sherlock, and he's missing. I'm sorry. Fine. I get it now.
Someone's missing.
Young Washington from the Christian Skewed Film Company. Michael says it's solid. It's GW, George Washington, pre-presidency.
It's a little on the flat side, but I learned some stuff.
Kind of like a History Channel recreation thing. Kelsey Grammer, Andy Serkis, Ben Kingsley, Mary Louise Parker. So a lot of good pedigree when it comes to performances. That is in theaters. Minions and Monsters. Not a Minions fan, says Michael, but he says this is the gooeyest and most incoherent, were his words, version of the Minions franchise. 2 of the Minions are going to make a movie about the Minions. Monsters emerge. There's script issues. It's a little confusing. But if you like the Minions and you like Monsters, you'll like it. It's in theaters this 4th of July weekend. Michael, you have certainly graced us with all of these different opinions, and you seem to have left nothing out. And you have always been fulsome in your treatment of all things that you bring here to discuss, and I appreciate that.
I wish you a bon voyage on your trip. Bring back some souvenirs. Bring back yourselves when you wrap this thing up. And I guess in the interim, I'll be talking to one of our wonderful guest hosts. I'm not sure who's
either Mo Kelly, I think, in one instance, and also Michael Shure. So you'll have Michael as well.
Exciting, and I'm looking forward to both because those guys are smart and talented.
Yeah.
Joe Fish, Sal the
course,
Shoemaker,
no,
Joe Box, and Little Anthony.
It will not be any one of those.
Okay,
Michael, you can find him thevoicesf.org. He writes so beautifully, and check him out. He comes and goes on a rainbow. The brilliant Michael Snyder, everybody.
Happy 4th of July. Go Giants. And again, bon voyage, Mark.
Happy 4th of July to you, sir. Thank you.
Mark, are you here?
Yeah, I am right here, sir.
The Mark Thompson Show.
It's going to be exciting.
Mark, are you here?
I'm here already.
Yes, he's here.
Okay, all right. The Harry Magnin $5 super chat is for the 250th. He says the issue with the 250 is that Trump is making it about himself. What? I didn't realize that. He's making it about himself. I'm tired of Trump, says Harry Magnin. Wow, that's
that was very inappropriate.
I'm just saying it's
Don't talk to me that way.
All right. Richard Delamater with a $2 super chat says only Trump water will be available. Pay him or die. That is such a good call. I promise you that whoever has the water concession does have to kick back something to the Trumps. They're wetting their beaks somehow. I agree with you 100%, Mark. Wow. I don't even know what that's in relation to.
It didn't matter.
Myra R. Finch is my new favorite person.
Girl, you just woo.
You are. Thank you, Myra. You are right. I am, and it's a burden. I am right 100% of the time.
Who is having that conversation?
Myra and I get it. Lori Dolly. Check you out, Lori. She is an OG. Member of the channel. She's a deep stater. She throws in $17.76. She said $17.76 for the founders. Shout out to the founders. Come on.
Big shout out.
Yeah. And then Lori Dolly, again, channel member, deep stater, OG, throws in $20.26. She says $20.26 for all of us and the United States of America.
Really
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, really, really nice.
Shout out.
Big shout out to you, Lori Dolly. Ren says, you must add 2 words to the end of the Pledge of Allegiance. The wealthy. Thank you for the $5 super chat. You know, it is true that in the forging of this nation, and really this was a remarkable experiment. It was also a remarkable achievement. I mean, for the colonies to pull away from England, I mean, you know, a dominant military force in the world, it was an extraordinary thing. But make no mistake about it, it was a document forged by wealthy men, wealthy white men, and largely for wealthy white men. I'd even argue the Electoral College is a legacy of that. There are a lot of legacies for it, actually, if you look, you know, but to your point, you're right. Richard Delamater with another $2 super chat, heading for the rooftop party at, what is it?
The Nugget? He must be in Reno or Sparks.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's pretty great.
Big shout
out to the gambling at the Nugget. Happy 4th. I'm out, he said. Out. Wow. Luis with a $5 super
Big
chat.
shout out.
In celebration of Kim's award, I think it's time for a limited edition. In celebration of Kim's award, I think it's time for a limited edition Sweet 106 Kim cupcake, curated by our beloved Radiocaster of the Year. Hashtag for a limited time only. That's an idea.
Nice.
Yeah. I like that thought. I like how you think, Luis. You're, I don't know.
It's a wild idea, but it just might work.
It's kind of a wild idea. Thank you for that. Ren says, why commercials during your live broadcast? Probably to make money. Okay.
What?
A lot of people were saying that there's some type of ad playing in the top of the chat. They didn't know why.
Oh, is that right? I don't know. I'm also seeing that there are people who say there are no ads.
Oh.
So I think you can pay for there to be no ads, or otherwise they hit you and just skip past it. That's what I do. Skip past it. You have my blessing to skip past it. The FBI and all that investigation into the vote may find 11,780 votes, says MC. You're right. That's what they want. They want something, anything. Resist Evolve says, the Mark Thompson Show starring the award-winning Kim McAllister. I couldn't agree more. It's pretty exciting to be with an award winner, my friend.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's been one of those weeks where we've had revelations of presidential wealth, revelations of Supreme Court that I think reveals more about itself with every judgment. The shadow docket, of course, is the thing that I think doesn't get enough attention. A lot of Supreme Court decisions get the attention, but the number of decisions they've made without having to explain the legal principles that go into them, that's all through the shadow docket. And there have been way more shadow docket decisions than there have been official Supreme Court decisions with written judgments. I pay $18.99 to YouTube and never get commercials, says Cheryl. Well, how about that?
Yeah.
That's a good way to go. Monday, we will be here. I will be here on Monday, and I'm expecting you to be here too. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Kim, and congratulations to my darling Kim.
I'm Shadow Stevens for the Mark Thompson Show. Bye-bye.
I taught her all she knows, everyone. That is the truth of it. We're out of time. Bye-bye.